real quick, we go to the next slide. What the field guide is, why it's important, and how we were able to connect with these wonderful people sitting up here and dedicate their evening to you and to us at Detroit Future City. So, as we all know, in the city of Detroit, there's a growing amount of vacant land in the city of Detroit, right? So, with the mayor's blight elimination plan, every day we're seeing another house go down, right? And what is that doing? It's leaving a lot of vacant land in our communities. Now, we've been dealing with this for quite some time in Detroit. If you're a Detroiter and you live in Detroit, you know exactly what this feels like, right? We saw houses on in our neighborhood at one point, and now we're starting to see more open spaces, what we like to call it in Detroit Future City. So, what that does is, there's actually 24 square miles, actually more than 24 square miles of vacant land in the city of Detroit. So what that does is it leaves an opportunity, right? And I remember being a Detroiter, I remember seeing the houses go down in my neighborhood and saying, I want more houses. And I'm an urban planner, and I was saying that, right? It's part of Detroit. That's who we are. We have neighborhoods full of people and kids and houses, but there's a new transformation taking place in our city. So there's an opportunity for us to think about what we can do with these spaces. So at Detroit Future City, what we did is we decided to work with as many people as possible in the city that was already doing a lot of work. So this was around 2014 or so. We brought together more than 50 partners. We looked at nonprofits, faith-based institutions, city employees. We talked to other community groups and block clubs that were doing this type of work, brought them in as the expert, and really started to work through the visioning sessions to really think about what's going to be the best user-friendly tool for Detroiters to use to start to reimagine how they see that space in their community. Another thing, if you're familiar with Detroit Future City, you're more than likely familiar with the strategic framework. And so we wanted to make sure it aligned with the framework as well. So we looked at the framework, we listened to our stakeholders, and we actually put together a toolkit that we call the Field Guide to Working with Lots. Now, it was important to us to make sure that this toolkit was going to be really user-friendly, transparent, easy to access, inspires people to actually feel like they can do something with these spaces, and also scalable. Excuse me. So the field guide, and unfortunately I forgot to bring my workbook with me, but the workbook actually is split up into 4 components. In the first section, it actually talks to the user on how you can start to work with your neighbors, because that's typically the first daunting task. Like, what am I going to do, and how am I going to talk to my neighbors about it? How are we going to get on the same page? So it kind of walks you through that process. Then, after you all are on the same page, it helps you think about how to get organized. How do we look at this space, work together, think about what we want, but then also look at things like sun and soil, things we may not be thinking about, so we can get the best plan or the best project on this space. And then it offers lot design options for you to start to think about. And then there are resources in the back that we call Making Connections. Now, the workbook is one component of the field guide, but the field guide is actually an online tool which can be accessed at dfc-lots.com. The online tool allows you to discover your lot. What you can do is put in details about your space, and it'll spit out a few different lot design options for you to consider first. It allows you to also explore, that's the next one, other projects that have taken place not only here in the city of Detroit, but also across the nation. We spoke with people all over the state of the United States to think about ways that they've done things, and we created stories so people could use those for inspiration. You also could check out, now you can see who has installed a lot design, what their experience was, and what it looks like today. And then it also allows you to then decide what design is going to be best for you. So you can actually sort the various lot design options by cost, how much volunteer work it's going to take, or manpower is it going to take. If you're into stormwater management, how well of a stormwater management design is this? There's a lot of different indicators you can put into the system to kind of get out what it is that might be best suited for your project. So after we put this tool together, we wanted to make sure that it wasn't just a tool that we said we did. So we really sought to catalyze implementation projects in the city 3 ways. Well, one way was through our partnerships. So we engaged more than 50 stakeholders, as I mentioned before. They were our first implementers. They were able to test the toolkit out firsthand while it was being developed. We also then established the Working with Lots program, which was a grant program, and still is a grant program, that provides resources to community members to help them understand the process from beginning to end of doing one of these projects. And then we also did tons of targeted outreach, and we're still always doing that. This today is another outreach effort to help people understand that the toolkit exists. So to date, so what I did not say is we started this process around 2014. We completed the process of completing the field guide in 2015. It was released in September of 2015. We started a Working with Lots program. We launched it in 2015 as well and ran the first program in 2016. So since then, we've had actually 42 Working with Lots projects. I forgot Greg. Greg's the troublemaker. He was a grantee 1 year, but then we didn't finish that project and he became a grantee the next year, so I made a mistake in counting him twice, so sorry about that. But, so we've had 42 Working with Lots projects. We've had 6 partner projects completed. We've invested nearly $400,000 in the community. 54 lots have been transformed that we know of. More than $50,000 in additional dollars have been invested. And what I mean by that is, typically, what you'll learn from our panelists is going through a process like this, you're starting to build your capacity. And you're starting to learn how to build the right partnerships, make the right connections, and have the right conversations to raise additional dollars to expand your work. So through our programming, we've been able to help other groups raise tons of money, more than $50,000 worth of resources for additional projects. And we've also heard of several field guide inspired transformations taking place in communities. So it may not be a vacant lot, it may be just residential properties deciding we want to do a beautification effort in our front lawn. And so that's been a huge accomplishment. And another thing is we're learning now that there are some businesses that are able to qualify, excuse me, I couldn't think of the word, for drainage fee credits. And if you're familiar at all with what's going on with our restructured water bills, it's a huge burden on a lot of our small businesses and nonprofits and faith-based institutions. So through our program, we were able to provide some resources, which you'll hear in one story today about that. And we're learning that some of those grantees were able to get drainage fee reductions as well. So that's really exciting news. I'm going to play a quick video, but before I do want to just say that George Adams with 360 Detroit is going to be our first panelist to speak to you. George was in our first cohort, and he is absolutely amazing. I hope that you're going to tell them about all the amazing work. I'm sure you are. So I won't spill the beans. But he was cohort 2, which took place in 2016. It was our first cohort. That was the time when we had very, very few resources ourselves. So we weren't even able to really invest as many dollars as we wanted to in some of these projects. And he was able to really pull off an amazing story from just transforming a side lot in his community. So I'm going to give him a chance to play his video and then come up and tell a little bit about his story.
All right, thank you.
Oh.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Anybody hear me?
Yes.
Oh. So again, my name is Shari, I'm the founder and president of 360 Detroit. I'm going to give a shout out to my board chair who came out, Mike Harry. So we partner with Detroit Future City in 2016. We decided to do the rear parking department lot. It was the best lot designed for our community. We want to do some parking and allow just really tight parking. This design allowed us to not only provide the parking, provide water drainage, but it allowed us to plant trees. So in our particular area of the neighborhood, we have the small burns. So the burns were tearing up the sidewalks. So we're going to lose all of our trees for the entire block. So now we only have about 2 trees on the entire block. That's on the street. So we really wanted to be able to plant some trees. And this, working with the landscape architect at that time, she allowed us to make a few adjustments, bring the trees a little closer to the sidewalk. So we planted some trees. And we got a flasher on. So that's so this we plant some trees, some rose bushes, knockout roses, and it's really a nice space. My neighbor, he does a little garden in the back area there, and provides food for the neighborhood. From there, we moved into, we got funding from Wayne Metro, and we decided to do the lot on the other side, which is this lot here. And so we did again, we wanted to plant some trees. So we did similar to the other side. This one we activated a little bit more with programming. So we've had a youth fun day there. We've had a DTE came out, and we did some technical support with DTE volunteers. So this is the library. So this has been kind of the idea. The goal is to get down to every vacant lot that's on this particular block and do this so that we can have trees along close to the street as possible. So that's our goal. So we have about, I think it's probably about 7 to 10 more lots that there's a possibility to do this that are in between houses. So our goal is to put this in place. It's here. So you saw the last picture. Mine is very, very simple, right? And it's the park. So from this, we've been able to garner support from our residents and community that we surveyed them several years. So they decided that one of the things they want to do in vacant lots, because we have 40 acres of vacant land in our community. I'm actually in the Virginia Park neighborhood. So there's 40 acres of vacant land there. So they decided they wanted a park. And so what we've been working on since 2014 is developing 20,000 square feet of land, vacant land, and converting it into that park design that you've seen, which will have multiple things of green water infrastructure in place, as well as playscape and some Wi-Fi, charging stations, and solar. It's going to be state of the art. It's going to be the gathering space. It's really going to be a community gathering space, which is what we need. And so, again, we've been very active in meeting with our residents monthly, and the design has changed a little bit because getting insight and input from not only adults but the children. I wish I would want some drawings from the children that we have and what you want to see in your park, and they've drawn out some very things. Something that I'm not just not going to be able to provide for them. They said they want bathrooms, so I'm not going to be able to do that. But I will be able to do just about everything else that they want. And so I'm excited, and we're excited, and looking forward to answering questions later. Okay.
Yes, you know.